Hey, internet friends, cousins, and scoundrels. Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. Pull up a chair, honey, and let's have a chat. And since the algorithm really likes it when you interact with the content, go ahead and give it a like and subscribe since you're here. Now I ain't gonna hold you. Let's get right into this. I promise you, the last thing I want to see when I'm on a beautiful tropical vacation is a raggedy, dusty bitch. Okay? That's the last thing I want to see. But Destiny understood the assignment. So here she is, uninvited, unwelcome, and ready to kill all good vibes. It's pathetic. Look, Destiny ain't got no money, common sense, pride, no shame, self-respect, dignity, or real friends, right? Because who's gonna tell her? Who's gonna tell her she's out here looking like a fucking clown? Who? Tisha? Kimmy? No. They bought front row seats for this circus. They're here to watch a show. And look, Dusty, I'm going to tell you some good shit. Okay? Come in closer. Never, ever let somebody else book you for a fight. Destiny is literally being sent off by two jackasses, too cowardly to do their own dirty work. And the sad part is that Destiny's great value discernment and her yikes on a bike, very desperate energy for female companionship and acceptance has her so blind that she can't even see the game that these two chicks are playing right in front of her face. It's embarrassing. And it's high-key annoying too, because she prides herself on being this badass, street slick type of bitch with all this big D energy. And look, now I'm starting to believe that big D actually stands for
You big dummy.
How dreadful. But wait, there's more. You see, Destiny managed to ignite an entire dumpster fire this week. I mean, this hoe had the internet streets in shambles with her baffling babble and out of left field claims that she could have slept with both Mel and Martell. And look, nobody's doubting Martell, right? I mean, he'd hook and curve the holes in donuts if you left them unattended. So that really isn't a flex, Dusty. But Mel? You really think that you could have had Mel?
Is this bitch okay? If I wanted to sleep with Martell or her, I could have.
Yeah, and as you can imagine, that statement actually left people questioning Dusty's sanity. I mean, people were literally calling for her to be psychoanalyzed and medicated. And look, I won't go as far as to saying that this chick needs to be committed, but I do think she is suffering from some deep childhood abandonment issues, and a visit to a licensed therapist would be beneficial at this point, because in my opinion, she's definitely emotionally stunted, and it's clear that Big Dusty is out here chasing it. Listen, I think we all knew this Fuliana was going to crash out and look like a dummy. So I don't think many of us is really surprised at that. I think most people were caught off guard at the sunken place level she'd stooped to, okay? I mean, you could have fucked Mel? When? How? Mel never even played like that on the show. And she went live to confirm that she's never been attracted to women. Ever. Not that there's anything wrong with that. I mean, if you're into that. But Mel is saying that's not her. So don't put labels on her that aren't true. And look, that's a reasonable request to me. Quiet as it's kept, Dusty may have had a shot with Kimmy and Tisha because allegedly, and in my opinion, they invite those kind of advances. I mean, just by the way they carry on. Not to mention, these two have discussed threesomes on the show. And when I think about it, it could also just be that Destiny thinks that everybody wants her. Take a look.
Destiny said she thought it would be you, her, and Kimmy.
But why me?
Why would she? Because she said she like Kimmy rubs on her. She's like, I thought I was
Kimmy's
the one for
a rubber.
Kimmy.
Who do I rub the most?
Martell.
No.
Oh!
No.
Pause. Why does Maurice think that's funny? I mean, your whole wife is out here being accused of rubbing on another man. and rubbing on him a lot, actually. So why is that shit funny? I mean, did I miss the joke? And, since Maurice finds this so funny, I mean, it makes you really wonder what kind of marriages these people actually have. And in my opinion, it kind of lends some credence to those rumors about the Credit One late night freak-offs and Black's backroom bust-down parties. But let's continue.
Bitch, you know that. Just because I appreciate a beautiful woman doesn't necessarily mean I'm running after no destiny.
Well, you still have the right signals.
She think Jalen like her. She think I like her. She think everybody.
Damn, she want the whole family.
If you think everybody that touch you like you, that's a problem.
Now that shit was some shade. But in light of the current events, it's kind of given, where's the lie? Okay? Where's the lie here? Especially since Big Dusty thinks she could have slept with Mel. I mean, I'm just saying. Anywho, let's get into this episode. Okay, it's a new day, and the ladies are getting ready for a beach outing. Nell is on the phone with Chris, venting about how she and Kimmy have already butted heads. Look, these two are basically two peas in a pod, okay? They're the same. Nell's got a strong personality, and so does Kimmy, right? So it is what it is. Nobody's going to back down. And fair enough. But let's just go ahead and be real for a second, right? Just like Kimmy, Nell is a fence rider. And trying to figure out where she stands on any issue is like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. Good luck with that. This kind of wishy-washy vibe is what's gotten her into trouble with the viewers. Now, to me, it's almost the same playbook Kimmy came in, right? You come in all neutral, you play nice, and then bam. All of a sudden, you start sneaking in those digs and jabs towards Mel. And the thing is, the fan base at LAMH anyway isn't here for that, right? It may work on other reality shows, but that shit ain't gonna work over here. Especially since Nell was introduced as a friend of Mel. And at this point, Nell is starting to look like the ops, right? Just another player in the shade game. And fans can see through all this flip-flopping shit and they don't like it. So Nell, I'm talking to you. You better straighten up, right? Now, at the same time, Nell's on the phone. Kimmy and Tisha are in their room. And they're still complaining. Literally, this is a whole new day. And these bitches woke up still mad about the free room. And listen, this is not giving millionaire status. This is giving I'm broke. I ain't never been nowhere. And so I need to get all the good stuff now because I can't tell you when I'll ever or if I'll ever be back type energy. That's what it's given. And I'm not sure why y'all are still in the house because millionaires just could easily move around. I don't get it. So Kimmy tells Tisha that she's ready for Destiny to get there and check out this room because she just knows that Destiny's going to clown and act a goddamn fool over these sleeping arrangements, right? And I'm over here scratching my head, okay? Because why would Destiny clown about sleeping arrangements for a free trip she wasn't even invited to in the first place? Yeah, make that make sense. This right here is proof that Kimmy and Tisha are banking way too hard on Destiny being their battering ram. This is 20 on 10 in real time, okay? Now remember, Sonny is on the trip, so this poses a real problem for Tisha and Kimmy because they need Destiny to focus all of that hateful energy on Mel, right? If they can get Destiny worked up over a bed, they know everything else will be a cakewalk. They just want to make sure that she's on one when she arrives, okay? And if she isn't on one, then surely, in their mind at least, this bedroom situation is going to send her off. Or at least so goes the plan. Now, Tisha reiterates that it is disrespectful for the three of them to have to share a bedroom, a bathroom, and a small closet. And again, I say, look, you don't have to. Quit whining and make a millionaire move. The fact that you bitches went to sleep woke up and drug this shit not only into the next day, but also into the next episode is some stupid broke bitch shit. Quit crying over this free ass room. You know, I wish I would sit somewhere and complain about some free shit that I don't like and can change. The fuck? They don't have to stay there. I can see if you hoes paid for something and then you weren't satisfied with what you got, but you paid nothing. So if you don't like this, break out. What the hell? Nobody's holding you in the house, okay? What? Kimmy gets in her confessional, right? And she's talking about how she wouldn't be surprised if when Destiny saw the room, that she just got her ass right back on the plane and went home. Well, first of all, Destiny shouldn't be there in the first place, right? She shouldn't be there. Let's just start there. But if Destiny did leave in a huff and disgust over that room, that would be the most rational thing to do, because what you and Tisha got going on is some toddler shit. Anyway, Stormy arrives back at the house, already dressed and ready to ride along with the ladies to the beach. Notice how I said Stormy arrives back at the house? Yeah, she didn't stay there. Just like in Houston, Stormy quietly assessed the living arrangements, and then she made a millionaire move. She just went and got her own place. There was no kicking, stomping, whining, or crying. She just went and got her own place. And you can see her name tent is still sitting in the same place it was on that made-up bed. She didn't sleep there. All right, so knowing that, let's play devil's advocate here. Suppose Trisha's room is really a better room with a bigger bathroom and a more spacious closet. Why didn't Tisha and Kimmy just ask to swap rooms with Trish, right? Especially knowing that Stormy wasn't staying at the house. I mean, Trish was already saying the day before that she should have been in that room with Mel's friends in the first place. So why not ask her to swap, right? That way, it'll just be 2 people to a room. Simple math, right? But here's the catch. If they fixed their own situation, they wouldn't have shit to whine about. They'd have to confront their real feelings about Mel instead of hiding behind this petty grievance, right? These Decepticons don't like to operate in the light. They thrive in the shadows, using proxies to do their dirty work. And Dusty was recruited to attack Mel on their behalf. And look, is that easy? Because Destiny's got her own bizarre, borderline obsessive reasons for disliking Mel. And if I could speak plainly, Destiny's fixation on Mel is downright toxic and strange at this point. The friendship was a clean break, and the fact that these women haven't spoken in years tells you that Destiny is stuck, and she hasn't moved past the day Mel told her, "God bless you on your journey." Now moving on. Sunny also decides to have a call with Moses to let him know that these ladies came for her yesterday, and that they will probably be on some more bullshit because Destiny is coming, today. Now, Moses tells her just to keep her cool and to, stay out of the way. Don't let nobody run over you, and, don't get baited into no bullshit either. And that's good advice. All right. So the ladies finally arrive at the beach, and Mel is excited to ride the jet skis. They all find some chairs and they settle in a bit before they go for a ride. Mel decides to call her Island Boy, and he pops up with towels. And yes, Mel is being flirty, but so what? She's single. Girl, enjoy. He even picks her up and carries her to the jet ski. I ain't mad at you, Mel. Go ahead, girl. The ladies are finally having some fun, right? They're all playing in the surf, riding jet skis, and having cocktails. But hell, we all know this vibe won't last long, right? Tisha and Kimmy are women on a mission, and you can almost see them hit the brakes on actually enjoying the luxury around them. They're too busy plotting to let themselves just chill. They're at the water's edge, and they are filling in Stormy about Destiny's pending arrival, and it sounds like they are getting her prepared for the upcoming drama that they're expecting with, Destiny's appearance, because Destiny still doesn't know Sunny is on the trip. Stormy says that she isn't worried about Destiny and Sunny because they did okay at her lovers and friends gala. And she's convinced that Mel and Destiny will be the ones with the problem, especially since Mel made it perfectly clear that she doesn't give 2 flying fucks about Dusty. Stormy said that she didn't realize it was that bad between them. Now, Shanita peeps this little powwow at the shoreline and she announces straight up, there go the ops again. Mel is like, why do you call Tisha the ops? And Shanita is like, because she already told me who she was and I believe her. Shit, why don't you? Mel was like, well, I didn't say I didn't believe her. I was just trying to figure out why you called her that. And then Shanita jumps in and says, now, every time I see them whispering in a group, I know I'm going to be a hot topic because I know how goofy chicks operate. Mel nods in agreement and she throws her 2 cents in and says that she gets what Shanita is saying using how Judas broke bread with Jesus right before he stabbed him in the back. Now, that was a legendary double cross. I mean, everybody knows that story, right? Now, Nell, I'm starting to believe your reasoning and comprehension skills may not be up to par. Because Nell hears this statement and instantly believes that Mel has equated herself to the Most High. And girl, what? No, it's quite the opposite. She is saying that if the Most High can fall prey to a deception from a so-called friend, then who is she, right? Okay, let's take Halle Berry for example. Easily one of the most stunning women on the planet, right? And yet she got cheated on, more than once? The point is, even if you've got Halle level looks, it doesn't give you a get out of heartbreak free card. It's like saying no matter how drop dead gorgeous you are, you're not immune to the bullshit some man decides to run, you know? And let's be clear, nobody's out here claiming they're Halle Berry, right? I mean, let's use reasoning. Jeez. The funny thing is that even though time has passed, Nell still didn't get what Mel was saying, and she brought it up again in her confessional. Now keep in mind, these confessionals are taped at a later date, right? Well after the scene was shot. So the fact that Nell goes on about Mel comparing herself to Jesus is something wild, is crazy to me, because it would be if that was in fact true. But Mel didn't do that, right? Then Nell claims that Mel's fans have blown her head up. So let's just break this down. Either Nell is slow as shit and need analogies spoon fed to her like a toddler, or she knows exactly what's up and she's deflecting and projecting her own issues with Mel having such a large fan base. I mean, hell, you guys decide and tell me in the comment section. Sunny asks Mel if she and Stormy are cool. And Mel is like, well, we're cool enough. She says that they've had their issues in the past, mostly because Stormy got a little salty over not having her new number. Then Sunny drops the real question. Do you think Stormy's got some jealousy going on? And listen, Mel doesn't even skip a beat. She's like, shit, look, the real problem is folks coming into this circle, translation onto this show, and thinking they're going to be the new HBIC. But if you're out here thinking you can snatch my crown, you got another thing coming. Bitch, just build your own throne next to mine. Plain and simple. And I second that motion, actually. It seems like the playbook for newbies is to come from Mel. If you want to be relevant or stay relevant, that's the playbook. And that's some shady Carlos King backroom politics right there, in my opinion. And it's not even necessary, right? Just carve out your own lane, do your thing, and you'll find your own fan base without all of the mess. Carlos King says he's king of the mess, right? The playbook Carlos King has outlined is just going to make you a villain. And honestly, not many people like the villain. And after a while, the villain always leaves the show because the heat just gets too hot. Don't make yourself an unnecessary target, right? It's quite simple. You're not going to dethrone Mel and you're wasting your time. Okay? You're wasting your time. Now, back in the huddle, Tisha is telling Stormy that she wants Destiny and Mel to have a sit down and hash out their issues with one another, or at least agree that they can be in the same space together. Question: when did Mel say that she couldn't be in the same space with Dusty? Can somebody tell me in the comment section, because I don't recall Mel saying that she couldn't be in the same room with her. Mel just doesn't fuck with her. So she isn't making plans to be in rooms where she is, right? She doesn't talk to that woman at all. And if the truth be told, Kimmy and Tisha don't fuck with Dusty either. Okay? So Tisha trying to push these two together is just some bullshit. And careful now, because you are not far from getting cut off yourself, Tisha. Mel gives the ladies a heads up. Tisha gone and invited Dusty on this trip, and she lays it out plain and simple. Look, Dusty can only pull as much mess as you let her. The best way to deal with a gnat is to just ignore it and let it buzz itself out. And Sonny chimes in with, or smash it. And Mel adds, well, no, just keep your cool and keep your peace, right? Because there's nothing to argue about anyway. And she reassures Sonny that she and Shanita have got her back and will help her stay chill, even if Dusty tries to kick up some shit. At this time, the Shoreline huddle returns to their seats, and Tisha says that she just wants to make sure that they keep the peace as a group when Dusty arrives. Now, this little speech is coming from a woman that kicked up 20 tons worth of hell just the day before over a free ass bed. But you want peace? All right, girl. Anyway, Tisha turns to Sonny and tells her that it's not what you say, but how you say it. And you can get your point across. You just have to do it a certain type of way. And Sonny looks at Tisha and says, now, girl, look, I know how to act. You just let your friend know that, because at the end of the day, I'm not mad. I don't have a problem. And listen, I agree. Destiny is the one with the problem, okay? Destiny is the one on national television crying and acting a fool over a man that kept her 15 years a jump off and then turned around and married the very next woman he met in 90 days time. And look, that shit is fucked up. It is. But that ain't got shit to do with Sonny. That was all Moses. So Tisha leaves early to go back to the house so that she can meet Destiny there and fill her in and hype her up again. You know, after all, Destiny is here on assignment. And she owes Tisha for this invite. And damn it, she had better perform. So the ladies decide to take a break from the beach to go do some shopping before heading to dinner. They stop at a jewelry store where Mel tries on a $22,000 ring because it was pretty. And Stormy purchases a $3,900 moonstone ring to add to her crystal collection before heading out to another boutique where Mel purchased a cute cover-up for this evening's dinner. Back at the house, Tisha welcomes Destiny, who finally shows up wearing a t-shirt with one of her multiple mugshots plastered on it. Tisha and Destiny find humor in this, and they laugh because apparently they think a criminal record is something worth promoting. I mean, sure, why not? Then Destiny hops into her confessional and admits that she has been arrested before and says it's not fun. But girl, you put your mugshot on a t-shirt and wore it in public. So if it's not funny, why turn it into a joke? And of course, she conveniently skips over why she got arrested in the first place. Honestly, that could be its own storyline. She doesn't need to be going back and forth with Sonny or Mel. The ongoing drama with her ex-husband, LeBarrett, could fuel this entire season. Shit, maybe even the next. You know, if there was one, you know. This man is relentlessly keeping his legal boot on her neck. She just lost another judgment to him and now owes him $20,000, or she will have to do jail time. And the clock is ticking on that as we speak. But instead of dealing with her own bullshit, Destiny's out here letting Martell, Tisha, and Kimmy rope her into being a crash dummy against another woman who can care less about any of them. Anywho, Tisha gives Dusty a drink and tells her that Sonny is here on the trip and that she just wanted to prepare her. And Destiny kind of shrugs her shoulder and it's like, prepare me for what? And Tisha was like, oh, I just didn't know how you were going to be. But then she adds, you know, Sonny's around the circle more. And she says that because Tisha knows that Destiny feels some type of way about losing her spot in friendships. So this threat of being replaced in the friend group is a trigger for Destiny. And Tisha is an evil, maniacal bitch because she really isn't Destiny's friend, in my opinion. She's just pretending to be her friend in order to manipulate her behavior. And that is some diabolical work. Listen, this relationship is completely transactional for Tisha. And once she has no more use for Dusty, she's going to toss her ass to the side. And that will probably be sooner than later, because Destiny tends to like to beg for money from her friends, or she always has some type of po-mouth story to tell in an effort to solicit funds and love offerings. And listen, I'm here to tell you that shit gets old real quick, okay? Not only that, Tisha and Marceau don't have money like that because they also have some financial hurdles that they have to jump over with all of their alleged lawsuits that, they're tangled up in right now. So I don't see this, quote, friendship lasting very long. You can practically see the disappointment on Tisha's face when Dusty doesn't react with a big dramatic response about Sonny being there. She just kind of shrugs her shoulders like she could care less. So Tisha decides to resurrect the whole girl code conversation that she had with Mel months ago. Funny thing is, if Dusty is supposed to be Tisha's friend, why is she just now hearing about this conversation? Mel's comments about not knowing what went down between Martell and Destiny or what could have happened behind closed doors and in between the sheets are now apparently news to Dusty. Mel's stance was basically, I can't confirm anything because I don't know, but I don't put anything past anyone, right? What's wrong with that response? It would be the same response if she'd been asked about Kimmy and Martell. Hell, Kimmy is the one rubbing on him all the time, so who knows? And Martell has proven himself to be a man with little to no self-control, so basically nothing is off the table. Of course, Dusty is simple, and she kind of nibbles on that bait, promising to set Mel straight on that topic later. And that's when she gets in her confessional talking about how she could have slept with her or Martell, and that the only reason she was still around Martell is because she is the only one of his friends that he hasn't slept with, and I call cap. Didn't you say that Moses kept you as a friend for 15 years and the whole time you were fucking on him at that man's convenience? So you being around Martell a long time doesn't tell me nothing other than you like being in the role of a placeholder with a wet ass. But getting back on topic, again, Dusty doesn't overly react to what Tisha said. And now it's time for the coup de grace, the room tour. Tisha is hoping that this death blow will send Destiny over the moon. So she walks her through, Stormy and Trisha's room, and then they move into their assigned room. And Tisha's like, and this is your bed, and here's our little bathroom we all have to share, and look at this tiny closet, but you can have it. And Destiny's like, I don't need to hang anything, it's fine. And in my opinion, Destiny really isn't underwhelmed with the arrangement, right? I think she's perfectly okay with how and where she's staying. She just wants a little bit more room to do her makeup, and she wanted to know where the other bathrooms were for that purpose. But other than that, I think she's just happy to be here on this free trip. Now, Tisha is still trying to complain about the room, right? Oh my God, it's so stuffy down here, and Mel got the three of us sharing this room, and because I was bringing a +1, and I guess she just had this, I can tell this is how she really thinks about us. And Destiny is just kind of, looking at her with a blank stare. This room isn't making Destiny go off. Even though Tisha is complaining about it, Destiny is not joining in with the complaints, right? Again, I don't think she thinks anything is wrong with the room. So Tisha switches gears and asks Destiny if she would be open to having a conversation with Mel because she didn't want it to be weird. You don't want what to be weird? Bitch, you and Kimmy got on the plane on some wholesale clown shit, and y'all ain't lit up yet. I mean, The weirdo is worrying about some weird shit? Please make it make sense. Now, Destiny interrupts her and asks her, why is she always trying to push a conversation? And Tisha's like, well, we are on a trip and she's hosting the trip, but if she's ignoring you, I don't want that. And why not? Didn't you treat Kiki that way in Houston? Not only did you pressure Nell, who was the hostess and the person that invited Kiki, to put her out of the house, the whole breakdown that led up to the water being splashed in your face was the fact that you were ignoring Kiki. But today, you don't want people to be ignored and you're okay with people being invited where they're not? Please, somebody, it's the hypocrisy for me, right? It's the hypocrisy. Tisha, check your panties. I think they are ripped and you are exposed. Kiki was evicted at the time of arrival. I'm talking about lickety split, okay? Y'all sent that girl packing, booted immediately because you weren't adult enough to be in the same room with her. You felt justified in ignoring Kiki, but you have a problem with Mel ignoring Dusty? Okay. So Destiny is like, I don't have a problem with saying hello, but we don't have to talk. You know, I can speak, I can exist in the same space. I'm an adult, and that can be that. And Tisha isn't too happy with that response, but knows that she has some time to, get Destiny primed and where she needs her to go. They are alone after all and will be for hours. When the first group of ladies gets to the restaurant, it's dark and it doesn't appear that they had a chance to go back to the house to freshen up because they're all still wearing their swimsuits from earlier in the day. They all sit down to eat and Mel asked if anyone has heard from, Tisha because her and Destiny haven't made it to the restaurant. Kimmy says that she had been in contact with her and they were still en route. Soon after, Destiny and Tisha arrive. And Kimmy confirms in her confessional that she is looking at Destiny's face so that she can gauge how this dinner is going to go. And I am more than sure she is hoping that it goes straight to hell. Now, Sunny says in her confessional that you can feel the energy shift the minute, these two ladies step into the building. And you can tell that the tension is really thick. Of course it's thick. Tisha has been working on Destiny for hours. I didn't expect anything less. So Mel tries to break the tension and steer the conversation to a positive place by bringing up the jet ski rides at the beach with Tisha. Tisha kind of has a dry response saying that she had fun, but she didn't go crazy because she was playing it safe. And that's when Shanita says that Mel was going fast out there and they had to ask her to slow it down. Tisha asked if the island boy was out there on the jet skis and Mel was like, nah. But Shanita was texting the chef all night, just being playful. And Shanita tells Tisha that Mel is the new ops for that comment and that she stole her name. Now Tisha's like, well, dang, and looks at Destiny and says that Shanita doesn't even know me. And Destiny says in her confessional that she knows Shanita. They used to work together a long time ago at the same restaurant where she was a hostess and Shanita was a waitress. And that Shanita was always very talkative and has always had a big personality. Now, to me, this is where people sometimes get too familiar, right? Just because you work at the same company as someone doesn't mean you know them. I'm inclined to believe that Destiny suffers from being overly familiar with people because she lacks social awareness, right? You have to be able to recognize social cues like body language, voice intonation, verbal and nonverbal communication in order to create friendships and relationships. And in my opinion, Destiny has not mastered her ability to do that, which is why her friendships and relationships seem to all fail because she doesn't connect with people on a deeper level. It's all surface level and transactional with her. So she confuses simple gestures of kindness to mean so much more than what they are, right? And then she's devastated when she learns that the relationship or the friendship wasn't what she perceived it to be. At the same token, she also does not know how to be a friend because she doesn't connect with people on a deep level. And transactions only go so far. So it's a dirty cycle, which is why, in my opinion, she should find herself on somebody's couch and do the work. But anyway, Sonny is like, well, hell, y'all are single and free to mingle in response to the flirting allegations. And Shanita was like, you just get a little excited when you get someone to talk to. And that's the best thing about being married is knowing that, somebody's got your back. And she turns to Mel and asks Mel if she missed being married. Now, Mel says no, which is why she doesn't have a desire to be married. Sonny asks Mel how long did her and Martell date before they got married. And Mel said it was a year and 4 months, to when they got married. Shanita then turns to Nell and asks her how long it took for her and Chris to get married. And she said, it's about a year. And then without anybody asking Trish anything, Trish kind of adds, and it took me 2 years to get married. And you can tell Kimmy is hoping that they don't get to her because she don't want to have to explain those 7 years it took her and Maurice to tie the knot. And she is in luck, okay? Because Trish just threw a monkey wrench into the mix because Shanita didn't know that Trish was, married. And by the look on Sonny's face, she didn't know that shit either. Now Mel chimes in and says, Trish is engaged. And Shanita's like, engaged? Are you married or not? Because how can you be engaged and married? And Mel is like, well, ask her. It's a situationship. And Trish is like, well, yeah, that's what it is, and she kind of laughs about it. But Shanita finds no humor in this and says that, you were just throwing stones from your glass house. And Sonny agrees. Now, Trish and her wig want all the smoke because she quickly responds, and did. And Stormy says, well, no, it's different. And Trish agrees with Stormy and says, yeah, it's different. And Shanita is like, no, y'all are the same person. You was trying to judge her and you have the same situation going on, only worse because you're still married. So Trish starts yelling, saying that she didn't interrupt nobody's marriage. And no, you didn't, but you allowed Ken to do that, right? So Sonny is like, well, hell, I didn't interrupt nobody's marriage. So Shanita pipes in and asks Trish, why is she so rah-rah? And Stormy's like, no, she's just passionate. And Shanita's like, yeah, passionate because she's trying to convince. Trish gets in her confessional to say that her and Sonny's situation is not the same. And I would have to agree. That situation is worse, seeing as though Ken is sitting right in the middle of your marriage. Shanita points out the hypocrisy with how they are all okay with this married woman having a fiance, but are upset that 2 single people got married. It's the double standard and the fake outrage for her, right? Stormy says, so y'all are saying that it's wrong for her to have this relationship if she's still married? And the Captain Obvious answer to that would be, duh. Shanita decides to bring Destiny into the conversation because she admits to Destiny that she took Sonny's side because Sonny's side is the only side she heard. And she's offering her the opportunity to explain her position on the topic regarding, her, Moses, and Sonny. Destiny goes on to say that their interpretation of friendship differs and that she and Sonny spoke well beyond her time with the show and that she had messages in her phone from Sonny saying that, I miss you, sis, love you, sis. And you can tell by the look on Shanita's face that little revelation changes things for her. And Sonny says, well, yeah, that's a response. Yeah, I said it. And Shanita's like, yeah, but you said that. And she says, why? And Sonny is like, well, look, if I told Destiny that, I said it in response to what she said, right? It means nothing. And Shanita adds, well, no, for me, if somebody tells me they love me, regardless of the person, if I don't love them, I'm not saying it back. And Sonny is like, well, that's my response. It's just the way I answer. So if you said it to me, I'm going to respond like that. So now all of the ladies are trying to drill down the timeline, right? And get some clarity. And Stormy asked, how many times did Sonny talk to Destiny, after she stopped being a producer on the show? And Sonny told her about 3 or 4 times. And Destiny was like, well, yeah, that's when she started managing my musical career. But isn't that just another business arrangement? And this is why I say this shit is muddy, right? Because you were working with her on the show, and then she got off the show, and then she started another business venture with you, right? So listen, let's move away from this topic, guys. Destiny confirms that she and Moses officially broke up in August, and Sonny and Moses got married in December. But he was still sending her money up until September. And Sonny is like, yeah, he was sending you money because he felt you needed help. And Stormy was like, wait, you knew Moses was sending her money? And Sonny was like, no, but he told me about it in the present tense because everything is, coming out now. So he doesn't want me to be blindsided by anything. Destiny said that she didn't know that Sonny and Moses were even seeing each other. And Sonny chimes in and says that, it doesn't matter because they, Moses and Destiny, had not even seen each other since January 2023. And Destiny was like, but you were messing with him in August. And she was like, no, we exchanged numbers in August. So Destiny asked Sonny, well, when did y'all make it official? And Sonny said, look, it only took us 90 days to get married. That's all. 90 days. That was it. I was hooked in 90 days. Destiny pulls out her phone like she's about to drop some tea, but instead she just embarrasses herself by reading some old tired messages from a man who's now married to someone else, right? Girl, why are you still holding on to that? Do you have some of LeBarrick's texts too? Can we hear those receipts instead? Better yet, how about you spill the real tea? Like why your then husband allegedly needed you to take a DNA test for his child? Now that's the kind of shit we want to hear. As Destiny is reading these text messages from Moses, Sonny is like, now what does this shit have to do with me? That's on Moses. He played with you. That's on you and him. None of that shit got anything to do with me. Now, Stormy gets in her confessional and says that she doesn't understand why everyone is blaming Moses. He's a man and men are going to do that, but Sonny should have known better. No. You see, Moses doesn't get a pass for being a man. He should definitely be held accountable for his role in this fuckery, right? He had the obligation to Dusty, and it was him that should have made the playing field clear, period. Because again, these two women can't agree on whether or not they were friends, but Moses knows exactly what him and Dusty were classified as. And that is where the ultimate responsibility lies. He owes Destiny. Sonny doesn't owe Destiny shit, okay? In fact, Stormy tells Destiny to her face, again, that she didn't consider her as a friend. And Destiny said, well, that's clear because we're sharing ding-a-ling. Sonny corrects her and says, no, honey, you had him in the past. That's not your present reality. I got the ring. And Destiny's like, yeah, that may be true, but I have his heart because he's still talking about me all over Huntsville. Girl, go off. I mean, he didn't marry you after 15 years, but yeah, you got his heart anyway. Shanita asks Destiny, what does she want, right? And she says that she just wants Sonny and Moses to leave her alone and be real about how everything transpired. Girl, ain't nobody bothering you. Your whole storyline is Moses and Sonny. so who's really bothering who? You know what I'm saying? Sunny is kind of over this whole conversation and she kind of buttons it up by saying, look, at the end of the day, her and Moses are married, right? And she hopes that Destiny can move on and get the healing that she needs. Basically she's done. She doesn't want to talk about this shit no more. It is what it is. And I don't want them to talk about it anymore, honestly, because it is what it is. Hell, everybody's over this fucking conversation. So Nell's like, look, we just need to move on and have a good time, right? So she turns to Mel and says, what's on deck for tomorrow? And Mel says, oh girl, I got a lot of activities lined up for us. And she starts listing off the things that she has planned. Now, Kimmy must have nudged Tisha under the table because their little plan to stir the pot isn't working out, right? And they can't risk waiting another day. It was hard enough to get Destiny wound up in the first place, okay? She showed up to the house all chill and just happy to be on this free fucking vacation. And Tisha actually thought telling Destiny about Sunny being there and what Mel said months ago would set her off. But no, Destiny just shrugged that shit off. Then Tisha thought, okay, I'm going to show her this room in the dungeon and Destiny is going to be pissed. But hell no, her reaction was still just like, okay, cool. Destiny even tells her that she doesn't even really want to talk to Mel and she plans to stay out of her way. So if Tisha and Kimmy can't get Destiny and Mel to throw in some shade and possibly throw in some hands, bitch, it's game over. Listen, I ain't gonna hold you, okay? That tropical breeze and the sound of the waves just has a way of lowering your blood pressure, okay? Just period, okay? And they can't let Dusty get comfortable just floating around Mel. I mean, look at Lauren. Does anyone know this lady is even on the trip? She hasn't said a word to anybody. So it's now or never, right? And Tisha says, aren't there some conversations that need to happen tonight so we can dead it here? Now, Destiny looks at Tisha like, girl, what? But she doesn't take the bait, right? Nobody takes the bait. Nobody says anything. So Tisha takes it upon herself to call them out by saying, Destiny and Mel, is there anything y'all feel like y'all have, to talk about? And Mel and Destiny both say, no, we haven't spoken to each other in 2 years. There's nothing for us to talk about. So Tisha is still not willing to leave, well enough alone and says, well, last night, Mel, you said, fuck Destiny, which caused Destiny to kind of take notice and maybe reevaluate her position on, having a truce. Mel's got that irritated look on her face. Clearly, she is not here for Tisha dragging up old bullshit, right? She knows exactly what Tisha's up to. But Mel stands firm, saying that she said what she said and she meant it last night, right? But today is a new day. And her vibe all evening has been one of peace and keeping things fair. And that's where she plans to keep it, right? Now, Destiny jumps in with, why fuck me? What did I do? And instead of getting to the point, Tisha kind of dodges it with, girl, there was a lot of conversation going on last night, so I can't remember. Funny how she can remember everything else though, right? So Sunny turns to Mel and says, since Destiny swears our relationship was solid, can you break down how she dropped the ball on you? And Mel doesn't miss a beat, right? And she starts rolling out a list of times Destiny acted a fool and showed her ass, and was downright disrespectful, basically, right? Now, naturally, Destiny claps back, okay? No, it was you. You talked to me like a child, just like you did Tisha tonight. Well, yeah, because y'all act like children, okay? Even Marceau talks to Tisha like she's in timeout half the time. And newsflash, If everyone treats you like a child, maybe it's time to admit that you're actually giving off toddler vibes. Could it be you, perhaps? Destiny claims that she didn't know she'd wronged Mel because Mel never told her. And right there, Destiny proves my point about her lack of social awareness. I mean, who in their right mind decides that Mel's album release party is the perfect time to start whining about needing a village? And that's just one of her many self-centered outbursts, right? Then Destiny says that Mel could have ended their friendship quietly without dragging her name. And Mel looks baffled. But don't worry, sis, you're not alone, okay? Because I'm confused too. Mel didn't drag her. She simply cut Destiny off, which sent Destiny spiraling into a meltdown of epic proportions, right? And we've seen it online. We've seen her melt down, okay? Honestly, Destiny's rant sounds an awful lot like Martell's claims about Mel doing him dirty. These two are delusional clowns. Mel tells Destiny, let me know when you're done, because she's ready to jump in and add her 2 cents, right? Then Tisha butts in with, are you listening, Mel? And Mel shuts that down real quick, right? By saying, yeah, I'm listening. Tisha, but you gonna want to sit this one out, sugar. This ain't got shit to do with you, and you don't really want this type of smoke anyway, so if I was you, I'd just keep it pushing, right? Meanwhile, Kimmie's over there licking her lips like, yes, finally, this is the showdown they brought Destiny in for, and it's shaping up to be a real barn burner. Mel tells Destiny that there's no reason for them to even go over this shit at this point because it's old. And Destiny is like, yeah, but it's still there. For you, Dusty, because you are stuck. You haven't moved on. Then Destiny's all, well, you said fuck me. And Mel's like, and I stand by it. It is what it is. And Destiny tries to claim that neither of them is the victim here, right? And she never meant to hurt Mel, whether Mel believes that or not. Mel just goes, okay. And then Mel says, look, sometimes I might be a little naive and I just take people at face value. You know, it takes me a minute to see who I'm really dealing with. But once I do, hell, I adjust my moves accordingly. Mel goes on to tell Destiny, you of all people know I've got an ex putting me through hell. I'm on the phone venting to you and you are jumping off to go talk to him. Fast forward to now and you're hanging out with the side chick and posting videos with my kids in the same frame as her. So who's really taunting who here? Destiny tries to justify it with, I went over there for Martell's birthday and that girl just happened to be there. I mean, he's got a whole kid with her. We're not friends or anything. And then Sunny chimes in and says, but bitch, you posted a whole video with that girl and Mel's kids online. Stop it. Destiny snaps at her and says, I posted Martell's birthday video. I don't owe you any explanation. She just happened to be in that video, but when it was pointed out, I took it down. No ho, you took the video down because the internet streets pointed it out to you. Bitch, they dragged you. I'm talking about dragged you up and down IG. I'm talking about they dragged you. The fan base lit that whole comment section on fire. And they slid into your DMs with that pressure, girl. Don't play. Stop it. Mel didn't have to say a word. The fans roasted you into submission. That's why the video came down. Plain and simple. The heat was just too much for you to handle. Destiny goes on to say, look, I've been over there a million times playing with the kids, and I've got videos of her and the kids on my phone. I never hung out with her when you and I were friends. It took me 3 years just to feel comfortable around her. And Shanita jumps in with, well, you're comfortable now, so just keep it moving. Destiny backtracks and says, no, I'm not comfortable, but that's who he's with. Now, wait a minute. Which one is it, right? Are you comfortable or not? Can you pick a side and stick with it? I mean, shit. Then she blurts out to Mel, well, you two were talking on the phone all the time like you were friends, and you were trying to teach her how to respectfully cheat. Girl, boo, we all know that came straight from Martell. We don't need to dig any deeper, okay? Look, if you want the real tea, go listen to the OSNC tapes, because not once did Slow Slaw say that she and Mel were chatting like besties on the phone, or that Mel was blowing up her line daily. In reality, Slaw would call their house, okay? Mel would answer, and that chick would say, put Martell on the phone. I didn't call to speak to you. That's what was really going on. She was harassing and antagonizing Mel every time Martell tried to cut her funky ass off, okay? And let's be clear, okay? Mel was the wife back then, and she was fighting for her marriage and fighting for the goddamn truth, okay? And if she told the side chick to call her so that she can catch her man red-handed, then that's what Mel felt she needed to do, right? But it was never this twisted narrative that Dusty is trying to sell. Dusty's version of events is so out there that even Lauren, the person who has had nothing to say, had no facial expressions, no nothing this whole time, she had to sit up and give her a girl, are you crazy look. Mel was even like, bitch, you sound as dumb as you look, right? I mean, if I was cool with my husband cheating, I'd still be with him. I mean, and who can argue that? She would have been just like Tisha and Kimmy, who allegedly, and in my opinion, are okay with their husbands cheating as long as no babies pop up. And since both of their husbands have had vasectomies, they only have to worry about a throwed off pH balance and STDs. Things that they can hide or conceal. I'm just saying. Then Mel gets in her confessional, and she basically says that if she was coaching a bitch on how to cheat with her husband, she wouldn't have been in pain, right? It would have been an understanding, no tears in the closet, if she was cool with it, right? If she was cool with it, she'd still have her family intact. And on top of that, why would Martell be apologizing on repeat if Mel was totally fine with him sleeping around? I mean, make it make sense, okay? Make it make sense for me. Destiny goes, well, I remember seeing that we could just roll up and whip her ass. And you were messaging her, telling her that, to let you know when Martell came over. And Mel shoots back, yeah, so I can catch him in the act and serve him those divorce papers, which is exactly what I did. Or was I somehow teaching her how to cheat? Destiny's all, well, I told you I wouldn't have talked to her. I just would have went over there and whipped her ass. I thought that shit was weird. And Mel was like, well, that's fine if that's your approach. But you just accused me of coaching a bitch on how to respectfully cheat. And that's a motherfucking lie. Destiny says, well, y'all had multiple conversations. And Mel said, of course we did. She DM'd me on IG. She'd call my phone, and hell, we all saw all those countless IG lives she did with Mel's name in her mouth. So yeah, Slaw was out here hella reckless, and she did deserve to get her ass kicked, really. Okay, but Mel has 4 kids she needs to look after, okay, and she didn't need any kind of arrest record on her. Look, if you were her real friend, with all your motherfucking criminal background history, you should have just went over there and whooped her ass on GP. I'm just saying. Destiny goes, well, to me, that's like teaching her how to cheat, because that's how I perceived it. All right, there you go, folks. Here is another shining example of someone who's got zero social awareness, okay? Also, let's be real clear here, okay? You don't get to dictate how a spouse should react to infidelity. Some people will fight to save their marriage, while others will just cut their losses, right? In Dusty's case, her ex-husband wasted no time in kicking her funky ass to the curb, okay? And he has kept his legal foot firmly on her neck ever since. I'm talking about this man ain't letting up. There is no forgiving and no forgetting. He is dragging her through the legal system like it's an Olympic sport, okay? He's stacking up charges on this bitch with every heartbeat. What's his mission? Well, I believe it's to ruin her financially. And if he can rack up enough criminal charges on her ass, she won't be able to find a job that pays more than minimum wage. Okay? And now that is the storyline Destiny should be worried about, not Mel. Destiny is lacking in a lot of areas, but what she does have is the motherfucking audacity and the goddamn nerve in abundance, because ain't no way. If I was Destiny and given my current circumstances, would I allow somebody to send me off as a crash out queen? Look, I just hope that when they are done making a fool of you, that Tisha, Kimmy, and Martell are loyal to you and consider you a real friend. Now let's take it to the comment section. Again, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time, bet you know now.